Welcome to everyone. Thank you for coming to Stone Soup tonight. We have a very special night tonight. A couple of years back, when Stone Soup had left its home at the Out of the Blue Gallery in Cambridge, the Out of the Blue is now, I believe, located in Somerville, but spent some time in Alston. But before that, their home was in Cambridge for many, many a year. And the craziest of those years, very arguably, were on Massachusetts Avenue, and it was too good to last. Within a few years, they lost that location, and we lost our home. We went to the Brew on the Grid, and thanks to our feature's persistent getting back to me, and of course my desire to get her on the mic as soon as possible, we had tonight's feature, Melissa Castillo Planas, debut at the Brew on the Grid in Cambridge. Fantastic night of poetry. It's one of those nights I wish we still had someone recording the entire show. I usually don't like when the show is recorded from the entire 2 hours. It seems like, what's the point? That just seems freakish. At least have some cuts, have a commercial. But that night with Melissa was one of the top 5 nights. I would say, let's just record the whole thing for posterity, please. I got some of it. I'll have to repost it later on, as I've been trying to repost some of the best hits from years past, because it gets harder to see those videos on Facebook as years go by, but YouTube's a little easier and a little easier to search through. So it gives me great pleasure to feature now. The open mic's going to go on later for those of you just joining us. We're featuring Melissa Castillo Planas, and I get to read her lovely boilerplate. It's even more impressive than when she first read, because she has done a lot more since that time. She did a lot more in at Harvard, in Cambridge historically, and she has added a lot more to her resume. It's amazing, so I'll try and recite everything and pronounce everything correctly. Dr. Melissa Castillo Planas is an assistant professor of English at Lehman College in the Bronx, New York. Specializing in Latinx literature and culture, she is the author of the poetry collection Coliche. Oh, thank you. Coliche Eats the Apple. Editor of the anthology Manteca, an anthology of Afro-Latino poets. Co-editor of La Verdad, an international dialogue on hip-hop Latinidades, and co-author of the novel Pure Bronx. Her most recent book project with Rutgers University Press, New Global Race and Media Series, A Mexican State of Mind, which was published in March 2020. That book examines the creative worlds and cultural productions of Mexican migrants in New York City. Her current poetry book project, Chingona Rules, explores Mexican-American identity, love, loss, and mental illness. I had the pleasure of sitting in on one of her talks at Harvard, and where she was seemingly single-handedly pushing forward the idea of representing more Latinos voices at the college and in general. That was an uphill battle, but I could see the results that she had, and I know how good a lecturer and how good of a communicator she is. I know she works very hard at this, and I know for a fact that she has just moved into a new location, her new home in the Bronx. So I'm very excited for that as well, to see her all packed up, and then the bookshelf looks so orderly too. That is impressive. That's the one thing I gotta do when I get Stone Soup going. I gotta make sure that my books are up there, but only the books with words. Not the graphic novels are gonna have to be off to my right, because I can't look like a total geek. But ladies and gentlemen, enough of me talking. I'm going to shut up and listen, and thanks to the mute button, all of you can too. But let's have you put your hands together, give jazz fingers from a distance for our reader tonight, Melissa.
Thank you so much, Chad, for that wonderful introduction. So yeah, this is my new home. I was telling my students I actually look like a professor now because I have books behind me in my Zoom. Can everyone, I'm on mic, right? Okay, good.
You're perfect.
Okay, perfect. So you guys get to be my exciting new ears for my new book project, which is called Chingona Rules, which is my second book of poetry. Chingona is literally on my ears. I have these earrings that read Chingona on them, which you can see really close. And it's a word that means badass in Mexican Spanish. So it's a female badass, basically. And so I guess I'll start with a poem that that defines what to be chingona means. And it's literally called To Be Chingona Means. To be chingona means, 1, you've gone through some shit. And I don't mean I understand my identity, which is just a part of being Mexican in America. I mean some real shit, street shit, home shit, life shits. 2, you've cleaned up that mess and moved on with your life. You danced, you celebrated, you remembered, you conquered. If that's one thing you learned from both the Spanish and the gringos, it's how to conquer. 3, but you've also conquered because you're stubborn. Damn woman, you are stubborn. They say that's the Indian in us. I say that's the chingona in us, because I've never met an Indian that wasn't also chingon. You have to be in this white supremacist modern day colonial world. Obstinante, stubborn in your ways, terco like our ancestors, tough like the chingonas that came before us. 4, a chingona knows her history. She knows it was our people that first dreamed infinity, knew that there was more than our small worlds and that our possibilities are boundless. She knows that Chincanos wrote men into our history books, but women were right there with them. And she knows the women that rewrote those history books: Vicky Ruiz, Gloria Anzaldúa, Emma Perez, Sherry Moraga, Chela Sandoval. 5, a chingona dates brown men, because that's the only way to truly mejorar la raza, and because she ain't got time to translate her culture when she's out there changing the world. 6, a chingona tiene pedo con el machismo. Like the young lord women and feminist Chicanas, she knows machismo can never be revolutionary. She knows machismo is not part of our culture. 7, a chingona knows her culture, that Mex-American, transnational, multicultural, global culture of a feminist Mexicanidad that opens to the world rather than hides from it. A chingona knows her culture, so she's not afraid to expand it, because she can be Mexican any goddamn way she pleases. 8, and that includes queer, transsexual, bisexual, homosexual, pansexual, or any other sexual. A chingona owns her sexuality. 9, a chingona feeds and is fed by her community. It is a community of her own making. A chingona is a community maker, a bruja believing in others, a conduit of connection. 10, a chingona is a flame. Once lit, she spreads fire everywhere she goes. She is Yamaya, bringing new ideas in her currents. She is the air that gives life to a people, and she is the earth that grows saiba trees that connect our dreams to the heavens. Thank you, guys. So I'm literally just pulling out poems from my new book, so I hope you like them. Let's see. So this next poem, so there's like 10 sections in the poem, in the book, and this next poem kind of touches on mental health, and which is something that's not really talked about in Latino communities. So it's something that I try and talk about in my book. And it came from literally a question someone asked me. She asked me, how do you want people to remember you when you die? I lift my eyes, turn off Facebook, and cry silently into my stomach because I'm so hungry to be remembered in death. I forgot about living. I forgot about who I was. I forget myself a lot these days, leave myself reminders and bio sketches and website views because I can't memorize even my own life. I asked my mother to remind me how what hurts me now is what also makes me fuerte. My curse is my pasión, and my life is one of love, loving so much, so hard, so freely. I forgot to love myself. I've forgotten to see myself. This is my scaffolding, because this load on my heart, this weight on my body, this construction of my soul means I never got to finish building. I am rough, jagged, and so close to being broken. Crooked bones snap together, snap apart, stitch back together. I never learned how to sew. This is my scaffolding. But my scaffolding is also made of combat boots, ballerina dresses, witty comebacks, slide side eyes, street smarts I hold over school smarts, long legs, Indian cheeks that blush too much, a dimple that knows what real, underrated, unadulterated, unfiltered, unapologetic joy is, and this brain. Yes, this brain that will always be mine, never care if I look pretty, never fade or gain weight, is always in perfect shape, My scaffolding is this beautiful brain and why it will never fall down. So my favorite writer, her name's Gloria Ansaldúa, and she is a Chicana poet from Texas. And there's this very famous poem in Chicano history called I Am Joaquin. And it's a history of Chicanos, but all from the male point of view. So I wanted to do one from the female point of view and kind of embodying her. So this poem is called I Am Gloria. I am Gloria, split in a world of borders, spit out by a gringo society, confused by my own Mexicanidad, told I don't fit in this land or this land. My father, a pillar of struggle, my mother, a stoic survivor, and I caught in the fence of cultural survival. How do I sustain a culture they say is not mine? How do I sustain a culture they say is criminal? Split, cut, pieced back together. Split, caught, I heal again. This wound is scabbing, breaking again with every racist tweet. I cry for a culture I can never fully know. I cry for a culture under attack. In the Zócalo, I dream of another life, one unencumbered by borders, one without those zebra stripes marking me always as other. In the Zócalo, I dream of another life, the one where you stayed. I wonder if I exist without borders. I cry into the Rio Grande, flowing into my veins. Cut as they might, it flows, rich and red, reminding me always that I am here. I am her. Chad, I'm not keeping track of time, so you're just gonna have to tell me when there's like one poem left, and I'll just keep reading until then. Okay, perfect. So this poem is, so I'll show you a picture. This is my grandmother. She died recently, just a few months ago. And I'll put that down. And she was a chingona. She was a really badass woman. And so I wrote this poem about her and about my mother and about just the long line of women that I come from. Toolkit. I am from a long line of what they call hysterical women, wild women, stubborn women, difficult women. My abuela belted years of sorrow, strung notes of violence tight into a life's travels, like a newly made rosary. My mother spent years of silence, only to slice by necessity, refusing to budge, like a wild horse never to be tamed. Today, he says, my abuela can't be trusted, from one hospital to another, home to home, broken in bones, but never in spirit. Today, my mother laughs to his face, cut deep into the recesses of historical forgetfulness, reminds that forgetfulness is an action, widens the holes. I slither through them. I am from a long line of emotional women, women unafraid of emotion, women who use emotion to survive. They call them hysterical, wild, stubborn, difficult. I call them poetas. Reaching deep with the contours of their tongues, they taught me more than language. They taught me to scribble and scream, be silent then sassy. These historical women are my toolkit. I face the walls of complicity, coercion, constraint. The poet has a sledgehammer. Let's see. So I used to run a lot of marathons. I haven't run marathons in a while because, well, there's a pandemic going on, in case you haven't heard. And also, I recently got tendonitis, so I've been off my ankle for a couple months. But before that, I actually ran 16 marathons in my life. And this poem is kind of about that and kind of about some other things, but you'll see when I read it. So it's called My Body is a Scar. He traces the wounds of my body in wonder. Your pain threshold is incredible. Pain. I've lost count of the number of times I've asked someone to scar my body. I don't remember when it stopped hurting. Maybe I started running so long when I stopped feeling the needle. Looked forward to that 20-mile ache. How legs feel like knives are carving at my thighs. Your pain threshold is incredible. Threshold. By mile 23, the aching stops. I smile again. Endured again. Another medal for the collection. Another memory I'll soon diminish. Like the book dates I dream will cascade the length of an arm. I realize it's not a threshold, it's an addiction. Addiction. That the same giddiness that marks a new tattoo is no different than those last 3 miles. That I don't just endure pain, I enjoy it. That I don't just collect medals and tattoos, but insults and critics. That maybe I enjoy depression, a vacation of the mind from thinking about this fucked up world and my place in it, my superpower and my kryptonite. My addiction to pain is spectacular or spectacle. I can't tell the difference. I think of the spectacle of spectacular violence we are witnessing in our streets. Black deaths as painful as they are public, child murder as tragic as it is preventable, children stacked like fruit baskets, like Legos, a border turned into containment in a desierto where dreamers go to die. The death of dreams is violence too. Mamá, es mi cumple, cumplo 5, quiero pastel. En América habrá pastel y navios más grandes, cargados de comida y agua. Mamá, ¿estás allá o estás ahí? Mamá, ¿y dónde estás? Mamá, ¿ya no me quieres? ¿Ya no eres mi mamá? It's more than a 1950-mile wound. It's more than a fence dividing a familia, a pueblo. It's a line, a lie, discarded in production or destruction, forgotten in the containers of our American dreams. He traces the wounds of my body in wonder. Your pain threshold is incredible. Instead, I wonder, are we a nation of addicts? So this one is my dream for the future. Dream. The city is singing rancheras drunkenly, celebrating my Olympic glory. I've medaled in every category of poetic brilliance. I wake up to a calorie-free chocolate croissant, live salsa band with the perfect dirty dancing lift, and a Latina president. There's an empire in my teeth, the ability to colonize my own body, contort limbs into bones that are no longer brittle, convert minds into ones that are no longer eats me alive. The president gives me keys to the country. We sing Selena out of tune. Oh. So there's this very famous poet from Paraguay. My husband's from Paraguay, so I'm learning about Paraguay. Called Augustos Roas Bastos, and he wrote this poem called Yo nací aquí, which means I was born here, or I was born there, depending on how you take aquí. And so, but I was born here. So it's my version of, so he wrote this beautiful poem about what Paraguay means to him. And so I wanted to do the same for America. So this is what I wrote for Yo nací aquí, or I was born here. Yo nací aquí, in this country of American dreams y fantasías imposibles, of half-truths and half-men, of poets of possibility and murderers in chief. Here in this America of brown feelings and white fear, of beats and blunders, in this cold time of terrible silences and worst suspicions. It's here, with the ancestral cadence of buried lives, amongst an immense geography of snowcaps, redlands, beaches, and canyons, blinded by beauty, blinded by pain. This is my country. This is really their country. Mi país es mestizo, multilingüe, pero no orgullosamente so. The land cracks under the weight of racial hatred, flood with the pressure of our ignorance. Here time has made heroes of villains because we are not created equal, but some of us strive to be. This is my country, the America of my truths. It's the light of my shadows and the shadows beneath the lights. It will always be my country. I have nowhere else to go home to. This is my country presented how I feel, know, and love. Because I was born here. Yo nací aquí. So in this Chingona Rules series, I have a series of what to be Chingona means, poems that kind of scaffold every section. And this is just one I like. So I just want to read it to you. It's a short little poem. I want to hold a love letter in my body, a syllable for each heartbeat, a stanza for each doubt. I want to hold a love letter in my body, but I'd settle for a line. You are worthy. Now, this is one of my favorite poems, which is kind of funny because I'm happily married, but one of my favorite poems is a heartbreak poem. Maybe because I know I needed to go through that heartbreak to find my true love, but heartbreaks are awful. And so this poem is about that. It's called Silence is the Sound of a Broken Heart. Silence is the sound of a broken heart. You can't listen for it. You can't soothe it. After the crying, the tantrums, the who can hurt whom better, and you're correcting my grammar. And I, with the 5 degrees, shout back, your dick is small. And there it is, the silence. My silence is the sound of my broken heart. The silence when we make love and I no longer cry out your name, or come, or even get wet. I touch my vagina and it has become dry, like my voice. It's the kiss that no longer tastes like anything, but that bitter woman at the end of her life I see myself becoming. Maybe I already am her. A broken heart is a resigned heart. My silence, another form of oppression. It feels like after vocal cord surgery, when they said I would talk again in a week, but it took a month to say anything. Every word hurt like a razor lightly cutting me from the inside. I guess I just take longer to heal. After they opened up my throat, every word became important. Every word became unimportant. I learned it's so much easier to say nothing, but I said everything to you. Now I worry I may never heal. Because I learned the difference between love and life. You can be the love of my life and still be the destruction of my life. Your silence is a surgery that left me dead on this table. Two more? Okay. So Spanish was my first language, but I don't speak it as well as I should anymore. I still speak it very well, but I'm hypercritical about it because it's not perfectly fluent, like my parents. So this is a poem about that. Mother tongue. My mother tongue is a memory I long to remember. Before my teeth ground in sleepless discomfort, before my teeth found holes in the incisors when sharpened by my ancestors, my mother tongue flicked ñes y r's like my abuela flipped tortillas. Before I knew my pretérito was imperfecto, my grammar avergonzada, my mother tongue was a refuge from a world that did not understand a half-breed, a hyphen in English. Now my mother tongue is a reminder of all the teeth pried from me, broken and replaced, shiny and new, but nevertheless fake. Still, even in English, my mother tongue is a memory that folds itself into my back pocket, curves around hips, and tells me to strut. Because my mother tongue is also my secret weapon, hidden and dulled for misuse, waiting to be sharpened. I'm going back. I wasn't going to share this poem, but I decided to share this poem because you guys are like family. So I'm going to share this poem. Because if it's going to be published, I should get comfortable with it. Let's see if I can find it. Okay. So Kavanaugh is a Supreme Court justice, and he's making decisions for us right now. And he's a rapist, or at least he attempted to be. And so this is a poem about that. 09/27/2018. Today, I am Christine Blasey Ford, pinned to my back, hand over mouth, sin voz, sin luz, sin esperanza. Today, I am her, another survivor, sin vergüenza, because the man pinned me to my back, covered my mouth, but I still refuse to be silent. Grito, I am her. Somos igualitas. Grito más. I am her. I have a story. I yell again. You can't cover this mouth. La mordida es más fuerte ya. These teeth won't break. They are the hardest part of my body. Thank you guys so much. New manuscript.
Keep the applause going a little bit. Come on.
Oh, this is very good. It's very good.
My hands are getting tired.
Melissa, how close is the book to being published, actually?
Oh, it's not close yet. I just got I haven't even gotten the contract yet. I just got it accepted, but I'm gonna put my email here, and if people email me, I'll keep them on a list, and I will keep them in the loop about the book, and then I can send them signed copies if they want them.
Definitely, and I'll try and find links to your books. I tried to find a link to your first book, but not even Amazon has it. And it seems
yeah, my first book is out of print, but it's actually okay. So this is exciting. It's being reprinted a second time now by actually a Boston publisher. What is? Hold on. I'll tell you in a second. Pen and Anvil. Do you know Pen and Anvil?
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Yeah,
exactly.
they're my first book. I'm super excited about that. And then my second book is going to be printed by Finishing Line Press, which is from the South, and it's like a great publisher of like.
Oh yeah, many people we know who at Stone Soup have been published through them. Absolutely.
So yeah, so
congratulations.
I put my email there, and you can just email me and be like, add me to a listserv, and I'll create a listserv. And I won't email you any news. I'll just email you like when the book comes out.
Right. Don't be an annoying newsletter guy.
I will not be an annoying newsletter.
Don't be me. You can,
too much to do that.
But yeah, we'll definitely spread it. And Amazon, I think, has at least the last few books or novels available as well. I'll see if I can post links to those tomorrow.
But maybe I can come back before the book comes out or after the book comes out.
That would be fantastic too. You can just keep us posted. I'll gladly invite you back. Absolutely. So again, thank you very much. And this has been a fantastic night and a great way to keep us going in the summer. And a lot of people agree. So, and out of curiosity, do you have a Venmo account name?
I do. Yeah, I do have a Venmo.
Put that into the chat, and I'll put that in. I'll put that into Facebook. So if anyone wants to donate a couple of bucks, we can't pass a hat. We give for physical.
Yeah, you guys, I remember that.
We do try to pass a hat physically when we're together, but now we try and pass the monetary hat, so the virtual hat. So put down your
Let me just
Venmo name, and we can pass that on. and we'll gladly get you back when the book is out. When both books are out, in fact, that'd be fantastic.
I have to actually remember what my Venmo is. I haven't used it.
And Pen and Anvil is a fantastic publisher, so you're gonna be in really good hands there.
I'm excited about that. I'm just so honored that they wanted to reprint my first book. It's my baby, you know, it's my first one, so I'm really excited to have it, see it. See, I only have 2 copies myself, so I can't even give any copies away.
Well, they'll make sure you get they'll make sure you're washing as many contributor copies as you need. Hold on to as many as you can, but bring it out and send the word out. And I'm sure Zachary Boss will let us know. Will also let us know if there's going to be a reading party when all the dust clears after all this atrocity has come and gone. However long that takes. So wish you luck on that for a face-to-face reading.
Now.
What's that? Yes. So we're going to go to the open mic. And thanks again to Melissa, or Dr. Melissa. I remember the first time someone gave me shit because I called a doctor of English, like Mr. instead of doctor. I was like persona non grata in my own department for like 2 years. But
now I will stir it up. I signed my name, doctor, to like people I'm friends with, and then Melissa to my students on accident because I'm so used to going back and forth between the two. So I
appreciate your patience with that. And now we have the long-awaited open mic, and I am so appreciative of all of you being patiently waiting for your own turn now. And as I call you, I've written you down randomly in the order of which I saw you appear. And I'm kind of weird. I'm kind of cockeyed, so you may have come in before someone else. And I didn't see you, so deal with it. We all make mistakes, but from what I can see right now, all of you are on. And I'm going to start by bringing up first person I saw on the open mic on the Zoom tonight when I came in, Mr. John Wesing.
Excellent. Thank you. So I'm probably the most Anglo guy in the world, but nevertheless, here's a poem that I can actually offer here. It's called Somewhere on the Yucatan. The driver of the second-class bus accepts my ticket, even though it's for first class. I choose not to wait another half hour for tinted windows. Surrounded by blinking Christmas lights, a portrait of the Virgin Mary watches over us from above the driver's head. We cruise a bit and pull over at a red, white, and green cement bus stop. An old woman boards and takes the seat beside me. She has dark skin and a nose like a parrot's beak, wears a wheat peel with a human skull pattern, and balances a basket of corn, chiles, and chocolate on her lap. Scars left by her Spanish ex-husband decorate her face. The driver's in no hurry. He swaps jokes with his friend and makes time with the slender brunette in the front seat. Our bus bounces down the road past palm trees and shacks to the rhythm of mariachi music from the driver's boombox. America sits behind me and whispers, "How will you get from the bus station to your hotel?" My mind rehearses Spanish phrases for the cab ride. I turn when a calloused hand taps my wrist. The old woman points out the window at a burro plodding along the road. She reaches into her basket, withdraws 2 candies, and hands one to America and another to me. I abandon thoughts of the future, distracted by the bittersweet Mayan chocolate. America remains silent for now.
Can't hear you, Chad. I was distracted because I was about to introduce our new person, but he seems to have given himself a new title. And I'm trying to, his full title is Bill Lewis, Self-Appointed King of the Universe. I needn't add to that intro. You are up, sir, or sire.
Yes, it is so nice to be with you, my friends. The 3 of us decided that this would be the perfect time to have a real, not the pencil. Oh, please, not the pencil. Oh, Lord. Chad, could you Could you do the Zoom thing? This is causing problems. Do you? Oh, the things I put up with around here. Oh. Now, I did want to propose that Chad should take a bunch of us on a field trip to some other open mic that has Zoom, so we could just like invade them and take over. I think that would be a cool thing to do. We should just find somebody and invade them, take over their open mic, and that way it's like a dog, you know, marking their territory on a tree. So we'll do that with the open mic groups. Anyway, that's my suggestion. If you need any other suggestions, I have lots of really, really good suggestions. Oh, God, I don't know why you put up with me. The piccolo. She rises above all when she spreads her wings. The deafening clash of the cymbals, the screaming of the horns, all lost to the piercing of the piccolo. The piccolo is strong and deadly. A solitary hunter, she stakes her claim in a band and then fights to the death to protect it. Clarinets huddle in the corner. The flutes avert their gaze when piccolo walks by. Our piccolo is short, unremarkable in appearance if you saw her standing still, but piccolo never stands still. It's when she looks you in the eye that you realize that the piccolo is on a mission. Don't mess with piccolo. I never messed with piccolo. I gazed at piccolo across the band room floor. I fantasized that she talked to me, although I wouldn't know what to say. Director declared that we needed a soprano clarinet. Here, Bill, play the E flat for County Honor Band. Honor Band? Honor Band? Me? Oh my God, I was an honor band. I was an honor band with piccolo. I was sitting right next to piccolo. I was duplicating piccolo's part. I was duplicating piccolo's part. I was fucked. Piccolo was not happy, complained to director, he isn't good enough. I was not. Director said, work it out. Piccolo took me to a rehearsal room and told me how we would work it out. And I said, yes. The solos were hers. I said, yes. The other parts I would memorize and play at a minimal volume. I said, yes. And then she made me rehearse for her. She screamed at me I wasn't playing to tempo. To tempo. Listen to me, piccolo screams. Listen to me. And music happened. Now you will go home and you will practice again and again and again at tempo. I was terrified of piccolo. I was in love with piccolo. I was getting private music lessons from a girl who would soon be a soloist with the Met. Fucking A. I worked so hard for piccolo. I got so hard for piccolo. I thought she was the sexiest, most talented, most powerful woman in the world, and I got to serve piccolo. I got to serve when my folks were out. I would put on my sexiest little thong, and I would have the most erotic dreams over and over again, practicing, dreaming of piccolo. Every time the band rehearsed, I had a hard-on. I was embarrassed, but I liked it. Piccolo must have known. I would always go out first and get the best chair for piccolo, set up the music stand just the way she expected it for piccolo. I pretended that piccolo appeared in my room when I was practicing, and she stood there yelling at me, tempo, 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 and then piccolo took her piccolo and she fucked me. I did make piccolo happy. It was a marvelous concert, Shostakovich, you know. She shone. And I I played my part to tempo and I made her proud. I made Piccolo proud.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Bill, Mr. Sire. What do we have next on the open mic? Ah, yes. Let's see if I can find them on here. It seems like we're missing John Stickney unless he was on here at one point, but it looks like he is not now. So we're going to the next person.
He's here.
Oh, where is he?
He's there.
Oh, there he is. Ah, I don't know why I missed you, but John, you're up.
Thanks. Hey, first, can I say, Melissa, just wonderful work. I was not familiar with your work until Chad said you were going to be a reader, and I kind of checked it out, and just terrific work. And can I also say, Chad, you did a remarkable job on the poetry marathon. I don't know if you heard us talking about it earlier before you came on. It was just it's just wonderful, just wonderful. Such a treat to see all these gifted poets reading. So thank you for that. Thank you. Because I wanted to be a poet. Watching Allen Ginsberg on Merv Griffin chanting the Hare Krishna years before I was hip to it. He accompanied himself on a pump organ, squeezed between his legs. There with my family, watching on TV, I don't know who was more embarrassed, me, my parents, or Monty Rock III. When is that nice Rod McEwen going to be back? Someone said. Thanks.
Thank you, John. And up next, we have the musical stylings of our own, the Pulse of Stone Soup himself, Ethan Meckler.
All right, thanks, Chad. A long time ago, in 71, an idea was formed, a vision. Stone Soup was the name, and the moniker stuck. But all the venues seemed to run out of luck. TT the Bears, and Out of Blue, Assemblage Gallery, and something with the word brew. There have been Rat, there's been Butcher and ZD, James Venn and Tony B. Parentos, Croutons, Veils of the Alt-Blight, and Blackbird sing in the dead of night. Thanks, Chad.
We're now to our next person. Thank you, Ethan. I'm just going to say that I was just one person out of many, and I was one of the smaller parts in the Boston Poetry Marathon. The real praise needs to be given to Suzanne Mercury and Bridget Eileen. But the one thing I'm glad I was able to do was get someone there who would normally have a hard time. It's the same person I've been bringing to the open mic for months now, and it's been like a training. The months of making sure she can call in have been like a training montage leading up to that marathon. And it was great to hear her set even before anyone else did as we rehearsed it. I have a special recording of the event, making sure that if anything happened to her or me or got any of us for whatever reason, technology-wise, we would have sent the video over and someone would have heard it. But I'm glad she was there at the reading. I'm glad I was there to help her hear as much of it as possible. And I'm glad she's back again, not content to rest on her laurels, but to read again for us. Let's welcome back Carol Weston.
Hi.
Yay, Carol.
Okay, I'm reading Azraphel, Angel of Death. Hands around her neck. I have come to introduce you to death, Azraphel said. Hold your hands tighter so I can see my destiny, she said. In my pocket I carry fossil whale's inner ear for balance and jasper to represent the floor of heaven. I, who cannot speak, call through infinity, and my voice echoes up the stairway to heaven. Azraphel, angel of death, protect me. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. And again, Carol said is available from the second night from Friday at on the Boston Poetry Marathon YouTube page. She closes out that the first of the segments, I believe, from 7 o'clock to 8. I think she comes on at around 7:40. And it's an amazing set, and I'm still thinking about it. Up next on the open mic, he's got a poem coming out tomorrow as part of a 3TV segment of Oddball Magazine. Oddball Magazine is still accepting submissions. Consider it at oddballmagazine.com. And let's welcome up Joshua Corwin.
Whoever that guy is. Thanks, Chad. Just great readings, everybody, and I really dig the title, by the way, that of the kingly title, Bill Lewis. And Melissa, that was just awesome. Thank you so much. And let's chat afterwards. This is, I usually stand when I read, but I'm gonna sit when reading this. This is called The Nightingale. Yep. Black morning trails beyond, red mountains free from winter's night, from sunlight's broken sound. Shelter cannot grow from this branch, stirring dead lilac. Dried roots sprout children, wet silence, failed dust. My children never stop questioning. They ask about the nightingale, the one we witnessed descend the red mountains, fly past dark morn. Mommy, mommy, exclaim my willow's lovely point, the braided azure rapture. Memory mysteriously fades. Houses of migration, let lucid air ascend, black and dreary, surrender to nightfall nearing. I pick up a golden shovel and bury my father. God told me the story, lips whisper to fire, spear spiral shapes thwart their resilience. Mommy, mommy, happiness is luck in the big mind. My smoke doves cry out to blue, glorious heavens. Their ribbons fall from their braids, their color mirroring my questions. I lost my darkness long ago in the light, no words left to surrender. Opening my eyes, my darlings become strangers. We don't know when God begins and ends. I travel the highway, toss map out window, fading away, fading away. My children wonder, is there a difference between dying and ceasing to exist? The sun exhales all my sorrows today. Lamplights linger no longer, except for in memory. I pray for precious fragility. You are my faces, I murmur, standing quietly below crystalline embrace. How fragile this empty crate is. Thanks.
Thank you, Joshua. Check out for his work tomorrow on the Free TV segment of Oddball Magazine. That's video and poetry, and of course sound. But that'll be available about 3 o'clock tomorrow at oddballmagazine.com. Up next, let's welcome back Jane Spoken Word.
Hey, everybody. It's been great listening to you, Melissa. I loved your work. It's just looking forward to your book. Very cool. All right, so this is a poem that from being on social media, everybody has a virus poem. Everybody on the planet has a virus poem. So one day, very aggravated, I was sitting there and this just flowed right out my pen, and it's called, Okay, I Give Up. Here's my fucking virus poem. In the city of the undead, 6 feet apart, your cough I dread, your breath, where's your mask? Get the fuck away from me. I am busy not touching groceries. Locked down in my room as heroes work through doom and gloom in the city of the undead. 6 feet apart, we wait instead. Don't touch. There are corpses, death by viral sources, nurses underdressed, doctors depressed, workers, drivers, all looking for protection, orange man boasting perfection, death by oblivious discombobulation. That's it.
About time you did a pandemic poem.
I give in.
Is that the one that's on in north of Oxford?
That's the one.
Yes, and north of
Yeah,
Oxford.
it was just a simple piece that came rolling out my pen, and it just seemed like it hit a chord with everybody.
Yeah, no wonder that the north of Oxford just came out with their pandemic issue. There's a link to it on the Stone Soup Facebook page, and James, one of the Stone Soup stalwarts who are in it. The other one is Patricia Kerrigan. So check that out. North of Oxford has been turning around, putting out issues at an even quicker pace than normal, it seems.
Cool.
So,
And if anybody would like to read anything more, you can go to my website, janespokenword.com. I got some stuff up there too.
thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. This is very cool. That sounds great.
Up next, another one of the Stone Soup stalwarts. I'm glad he made it tonight. Let's welcome up Mr. David Miller.
All right. Well, here's something that, and first off, hi everyone, and thanks for a great night. So this is something I wrote a little earlier this summer, thinking about summers past. But then I learned since then that actually whale watching is happening again. I don't know that I'll do it this summer, but it is actually, you can do it now. But thinking of previous summers anyway, this is called Ahoy. To flee the landlocked summer afternoons of our automobile-encircled Boston block, we set ourselves to go a harbor cruising. Locals incognito, we queued with tourists, pondered but rejected the standard proffered beers, girded sea legs for the voyage of some few breezy miles. The waves, with luck, were kind to amateurs, The winds were high, my visor cap was threatened. The company was hearty as we dashed around the decks from port to starboard, starboard to port, in breathless pursuit of the enormous whale. We transfixed Leviathan with our wows and overhears, grappled the beast for future anecdotes, pressed its oil to lubricate our photo streams. Night falls, and I, day-tripping sailor, crash to snooze across my mattress quarterdeck. But ahoy! My day of sail is incomplete. My inner ears' canals, awash in fluid, stay faithful to their mission of keeping me upright. My brain, tossed in its billows, lists from port to starboard, starboard back to port. Land ho, it calls from its crow's nest. Land ho, as the synaptic shoreline slowly comes in view. I slumber in the sea's dogged embrace. Thanks.
Lubricated live streams? Oh my God. I don't know if I even heard that correctly, but it was amazing. Can't wait to read that. Hear that one again. Whoops. I think you keep on trying to unmute you, and I think you mute yourself back. What was it you were saying?
Lubricate our photo streams.
That's amazing. Whoops. Oh my God. 1 second. That made me laugh so much. I actually lost the damn mic. It's the highest praise of all. So I'm just going to go to the next person on the open mic. I'll get myself fixed up. Let's bring up Mr. Eric Nelson.
Just I'd completely forgotten. Here's something I found in one of my old diaries and saw that I'd completely forgotten that I wrote it. So once there was a god, very frustrated by the fact that his creations tended to live short lives, became ashamed of his own immortality. He had a sort of survivor guilt. He wanted to apologize to all the people and animals and plants for the fact that they were mortal, that he didn't know how to make them any other way, but they always turned out to be dead by the time he got around to it. In his shame, to ease his guilty conscience, he started pretending to be mortal himself. That's why many of us have not heard from God lately, because God is dead. At least he's decided to be.
Nice one, Eric. Let's bring us now to someone who I've been trying to get on the back here on here for a long time. And it's great. Oh God, I hope that we didn't lose her. I hope here she is. Let's welcome up Gloria Monahan, who may have to unmute herself.
Hi, can everybody hear me? Whoa, I just really want to say thanks to Chad for this amazing opportunity. And also, I really love the feature. You know, I just want to give that out. Like Chad's forum allows people that are not well published to have a voice in Boston, and it's always such a pleasure. I bring my students here. This is such a great thing, and I'm so glad to see so many people here. I'm going to read a short poem. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
No?
Yes.
You're good.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with this film called Mama Roma. It's a film in 1962 written and directed by Pier Paolo Pasolini. And he was a homosexual man in 1962. He was a communist, he was a socialist, and the Italians were not keen on him for all of those reasons. And he was killed by his government and posed as a pimp, which is probably not accurate. But if you have seen his films, which I'm sure some of you have, they're just beautiful, very spiritual, you know, but not traditional. This is called Mama Roma. If you can believe in the eternal mother, you can believe that a woman can do anything if provoked enough. In the opening scene, Mama Roma is called to sing at the table. Pigs walk among them as well as children. She sings about being free. Her husband sings about sage rage and saints of happiness. She calls her son a stick. Verdi in the background, Anna Magnini, eternal arc of eternal sun, Dante's circle of mud and shit. A woman, soft or loud, young or old, is capable of anything. And so it shall be in the end. Whispering love to her black hair, a whispering promises, a hound in the stars. Mama Roma, between centuries. Thank you so much. And again, thank you to the feature, who is just, I think, another call to arms for all of us and hopeful to be proud of our cultural heritage. And it's so exciting what's happening right now. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Gloria. We are moving on to the next person on the open mic. We have a handful left before Jan St. Louis sings us home. And we're going to introduce next the, it's funny, you guys are moving all around, so I lose track here. But we still have up here, and where I slated for next, Cici Ashagra.
Hello, everyone. These are a run on a bunch of 4-line things that I'm putting together a new manuscript called Happy Birthday, Love. So I'm gonna run a few together because they're all so short, and that's it. Free the void of lost and found, land where graves become unbound. Rest in peace through days and nights. All wars end as to form was. Wasted in the ruins of victory, the last sister on earth married true to love, the bride of death and transformation. The first woman never sold, traded, or raped. Humility chose to be unidentified. It was tempted to take credit for love. Then the gender wars came to teach slavers a lesson, till no one abused the division of labor. Terror, torture, cause, effect. Trauma shrouds the mirror. Innocence could not reflect, as benevolence waits where undivided love lives. And thanks. And Melissa, I liked your reading too a lot. The one line, many lines stuck in my head, but one of my favorites was My superpower and crypt was my kryptonite. I thought that does a lot more work than the surface of it. So thank you for everyone and everything here.
Thank you, CC. Let's bring up next Mr. Angelo D'Amato.
All right, hello everyone. Hold on. Hi. I'm going to be reading a poem that I've been working on in a trauma in poetry workshop. It's not in its final form yet, but it's pretty close, so I'm comfortable sharing it. It's called March 13th, 2007. He wakes up at 6 o'clock, no sooner, no later, brushes his teeth, sits at the computer, and gets a little writing done before his sisters wake up and ruin everything.
I got all these messages.
Toasts a Costco corn muffin until the center is warm and not a lump of cold dough. Goes to school on bus 13, entertains and shows off and asks question after question, charms the teachers, competes to be the weirdest person at the lunch table, goes home, does homework, reads a book.
He's at least in runner-up category.
Goes to sleep.
Be happy for him. Let's fucking sleep to get it done.
Chad, I don't mean to be rude, but I can hear you.
Thank you very much. So, hello,
Okay.
sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I had to deal with something right there. Yeah, you must have heard me yammering. I'm sorry. I had to deal with a quick emergency.
No, it's okay.
Sorry about that. This is what happens when I get a home life, and I don't know how to mute the button. So I'll
Angelo,
have you start over. Sorry about that.
start again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Please do.
Start again from the beginning. That was so good.
Okay.
So sorry. Angelo, are you there?
Until the center is warm and not a lump of cold dough. Goes to school on bus 13. Entertains and shows off and asks question after question. Charms the teachers. Competes to be the weirdest person at the lunch table. Goes home. Does homework. Reads a book. Goes to sleep after lying awake for 20, 30 minutes, thinking about something mundane. Hoping tonight will be a peaceful night. Not a night filled with smashed glass, smashed letter carriers, threats to chainsaw furniture, listening to his mother pick up the glass, waiting for his father to barge back in. The night comes where his father demands over and over and over again the keys to his shotgun case, and his mother denies him over and over and over again. And he plays the hero in his head, barges into the living room, demands that he stop. Just get out of bed. Didn't sleep, brushes his teeth, no breakfast, no writing, no memory. Bus 13. Mr. G asks to call the police, and he says yes. Waiting with the principal. Sisters arrive. The neighbor takes them to dinner next to a Dunkin' Donuts. Before Boy Scout camping trips, a medium decaf, light and sweet, burns his thumb on a match his father asks if he is all right. The neighbor says she heard them shouting, talks about the SWAT team. They'd blocked off the street. Heard them did nothing. Dinner is really nice. Time for bed. The Sword of Shannara. The hero exposes the Witch King's false existence, a phantom, a corrupted soul. In college, he will just miss a bellowing train, will rant at hateful doctors, will cry, I wasn't a good Boy Scout. Years later, he will dwell on Quentin Compson's lead-lined boots, the nearness of the river. Just go and jump. A dark room. Now soothed by the hospitable hum, the doctors will say he's all right, but no. He wants. Christ preaches redemption, preaches forgiveness. Sterilized sheets, a pill dissolving on his tongue. The Sword of Shannara is closed beside him. Lying awake, staring at the ceiling, thinking about something mundane, waiting for a peaceful sleep to come, waiting for a peaceful sleep to come, waiting for a peaceful sleep to come, waiting for, waiting. And that's that.
I am so glad I got the chance to hear that a second time. That's fantastic. And thanks for reminding me of the Shannara books.
Yeah, no problem.
That was great. And yeah, sorry guys. Sometimes I have to deal with stuff behind the scenes, but usually I'm smart enough to press the mute button. But and I always listen back to all the poems, to any poems I miss, which tonight has now been 0, thanks to, that's a mixed blessing behind that retake. Up next on the open mic, getting down to the brass tacks, the last of them. Let's see. Mr. Eric Tate, are you ready, sir? There you are.
My cell phone's dying here, so hopefully I'll get this one out.
Hi, Chad.
Am I unmuted? Can everybody hear me?
You're just fine.
Okay. A sullied democracy. By the time Trump leaves or is forcibly removed, the damage will already be done. Like when the clunky, imposing neighborhood kid, ignoring your protests, pushes into your room and begins playing roughly with your favorite toys, unapologetically breaking them one by one until there's nothing left to be broken. Then just as quickly, with self-satisfied look, after surveying the room, bounce towards the door and home, leaving you with the cleanup. To be fair, most of this stuff can be put back together with a bit of glue and ingenuity, or so you try to make yourself believe, but try as you might, it's going to take a long time to erase the images of the neighborhood kid gleefully twisting your action figures around within his various orifices. Thank you.
Never mind, neighborhood bully. Thank you, Eric. We have coming up next. Yes, she first she was just a listener, now she's coming back to read, and I'm very excited. Let's welcome up Rafiana Martinez, who may have to unmute herself, and she did.
Hello, everyone. I'm gonna read a poem titled "They Don't Even Know Me." A life worth chasing is a life worth living, but I indulge in negative thoughts. My mind is tired of me. My heart loathes me. My soul escapes me. I wish I can run away from myself. My thoughts won't let me. I'm a constant reminder of the hate I see in the world. They hate me. They don't even know me. I have children, 3 who love me, a husband who constantly picks at my nerves but adores me. I'm the light of my father's eyes, yet I'm hated when I walk down the street. You don't belong here. Go back to your country, they say. I wish I could, but you took it from me. You want me back in the country that you already own, so where should I go? Subjugated by the hate they reflect, the reflection staring at me only reflects engraved in their hate. I wish I can break every mirror I see, 'cause seeing bigotry on the TV screen, racism in front of me, hate looking back at me overwhelms me. And 7 years bad luck is a luck I can't afford, on top of the luck I already own in being me. A life worth chasing is a life worth living, but every road I take in my efforts to make a better life is encountered with hate. Filling out forms for school loans, homes, or cars, needing to check a Hispanic, Latin, Black, African American, Negro labeled box wrapped in barbed wire just to receive a denied letter marked in the same red hues from spilled blood and efforts to provide me a chance to fill out the forms in the first place. Like a mime, I push at these walls, meant just for me, they push back. Let me through, I have places to go. No one hears me though. I scream a bit louder, still, I'm ignored. Closing my teary eyes, punching at nothing, I scream. Remove these mental blockages, these emotional barriers, these high walls built by insecurities. Opening my eyes, I see my reflection staring back at me, a mirror I forgot I built for me many years ago. Kicking through the bitch, forcing my way through, I say, can't you see? I have places to go. Throwing rocks named courage, self-love, strength, resilience at this invisible force field built to stop me. Middle fingers in the air, with every stride, I say, knowledge and passion are at the driver's side, they're my ride. Every book I read is the reinforcement I need, the stamina I command to take on a society that was taught to hate me. Out of my own way, I indulge in knowledge, my mind thanks me. I pamper myself with love, my heart worships me. I feast in courage, my soul guides me, in a land taught to hate me. That's it.
Thank you very much, Rafina. Let me just say that I hope this isn't the last we've heard from you. Stone Soup meets every Wednesday now online from 7 to 9, and there's a Stone Soup Facebook page. I'd love to see you join it. I'd love to see you stay in contact. We're a Boston group when we're not on Zoom, but as you can see right now, we're able to connect anywhere and everywhere these days. So we'd love you to be part of it at some point.
Thank you. I will try.
Got the Bronx here. You got Brooklyn here. You got
right.
Yeah, you're going worldwide, Chad.
That's awesome. I love it. We're going to finish off with our penultimate closer these days. He is one of the veteran open micers from Stone Soup's early beginning days. He's also a columnist and writer for Oddball Magazine. Check out his column, It's All One Thing, a poem column. We're one of the few magazines to do it at oddballmagazine.com. His is published every Thursday without fail at 11 a.m. And check out Oddball Magazine in general. There's even one great poem by Melissa in there, based on Trump's tweets, and one of them's too. It is a keeper. And we're going to bring us now to Mr. James Van Loy.
Thank you. Thank you, Chad. So I have a little poem here. This is one of my Labyrinth poems. It's called End Time Final Days Labyrinth. End Time Final Days Labyrinth. Hyper sensitive. Just laying low. No one would know, so far down below, what was going on, who was carrying on. I did what I had to do, never for immediate effect, always thinking this is training to spend a life making art, talking about what's really happening in the sky, in the earth, over our heads, under it all. And finally, in this great crisis, 6 mass extinction, anthropogenic age, the neoliberal big lie, it just happened all by itself. I go out to make a design called Living Trauma Labyrinth. And there I am by chance, by accident, really making a design out of my own error, my own mistake, my lame misstep. Mistake creates new design, all by itself, all by itself. And let me sing a quick song here. We're not the good guys. They didn't want to do it. We didn't want them to do it. They're not the good guys. I guess we always knew it. You know, they always knew it. They were so slap happy sometimes. They seemed so rad. But there were times, dear, you know, they were so bad. They made us cry so. We didn't want to do it. We didn't want to do it. We need some love, that's true. Yes, we do. Did we do? You know we do. Give us, give us, give us, give us what we cry for. The brand of revelation, revolution that we could die for. You know they made us love them. You know they made us love you.
Thank you, James.
Thanks to everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Great
everybody.
to hear you, Melissa. Good to hear you, everybody.
Thank you everyone so much. You guys were wonderful.
Yay.
Right.
Yeah.
Just felt like being back in Boston.
Thank you guys all very much. Thanks to James. Thanks to the open mic in general. Thanks to Melissa. Would you like to do a encore before we go?
Sure, I'll do one last poem.
One more poem. One more poem. One more poem.
You gotta hold up the cigarette lighter, right?
Scared.
I think people hold up icons these days.
Oh, yeah. Oh, fair.
The lighter emoji is what Zoom needs. But
I had a woman who was lighter skinned than me tell me that I wasn't Latina. I wrote a poem about it. To the woman who told me I wasn't Latina. Excuse me? ¿Me estás hablando? ¿Me conoces? ¿Me entiendes? That's right, I didn't think so. But still, part of me wants to go mad ratchet on your front and judgmental and very flat ass. In the language you never learned. ¿Cuánto tiempo has pasado en México? ¿Cómo se cocina pozole? ¿Conoces el grito o el canto para pedir posada? ¿O algo de nuestra historia? Or anything about Mexico at all? Or is it just color in jokes for laughs, a little sazon at another woman's expense? But I can't, because that would make me you. Petty when we should be celebratory, divided when we should be united. In the face of Donald Trump, a border wall, and white America, I want every single one of us, even if they don't want me. I think you say I'm not Latina to protect those salted wounds that never went away, because we actually have more in common than we want to admit. Love the same man at the same age, heal wounds on page and stage, struggling with words in both languages and multiple languages to claim a Latinidad that tongue-tied us more times than we care to admit. You say pros before bros. I say hermanidad before hermandad. I say pros for nosotras. The nosotras, a wave of sisters that crash over walls. The nosotras that grows big enough to crash walls down, spraying celebratory droplets across all of the United States. Hopefully one day you'll say the same. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Melissa. And thanks to all of you. I'll leave the chat room up because a couple people wanted a dialogue afterwards, so I'll keep it unmuted and I'll keep this going for a little bit, even as I stop the recording. But tune in on stonesoupoetry.blogspot.com or the Stone Soup Facebook page to hear news about next week, which will probably be an open mic, but it looks like I have a feature scheduled for 2 weeks after, for a week after that, and hopefully we'll get a finalization for Tony B's feature. I'm going to hold her feet to the fire, and hopefully she'll be able to give me a date, and that will be exciting news indeed, as well as exciting news for the rest of the summer and going into the new year. Again, thank you guys very much, and I will be reposting the.
Can we give a round of applause for Chad?
Yeah.
Yay! Round of applause.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Joshua. You gotta get tendonitis just by doing that. You know that.
Yeah. All these kids these days are gonna get whatever. I actually have I have a hand brace that I'm supposed to wear apparently already.
Oh.
Damn.
Yeah. Supposed to wear it. Supposed to is the key word.
Well, I'm going to let you guys talk amongst yourselves for a little while, but this video will be available tomorrow. As you guys probably know from hearing me yell, I gotta make a tuna melt for a girl. So you guys will be able to enjoy the rest of your time here. Leave when you need to, and have yourself an excellent evening. Have yourself a great rest of the week. Wait for the Stone Soup Crouton poem to come on Friday. Wait for more stuff to come from my website, chadparentopoetforhire.com, and from the Stone Soup Facebook group. Many more things being announced, and as well as oddballmagazine.com. I should mention this. We actually got approved for nonprofit status. We are officially a nonprofit group. So that hasn't even been officially announced yet. But Jason announced it to the rest of us, and I think by sometime this weekend or by Monday, we're going to be getting together to discuss the ramifications of that. So many things.
It's recording still, so
yeah.
Should it be?
It'd be like this every week with exciting stuff. All we need is you guys. So thank you again, and good night. Thank you, Melissa Castillo Planas.
Thank you, Chad.
And take care of yourselves.
Bye-bye.
Everyone else. Bye-bye. Do the wave.
Bye-bye.
Do the wave.
Woo.
There we go.
Long live Stone Soup.
Yeah.
Almost missed the wave part. There we go.